My goal with my content is to get entrepreneurs and restaurant owners to understand that ABR is more than an acronym. It's a lifestyle. Attract, build, retain is what we need to wake up thinking about daily. We have to believe our message is important to the masses, and creating lasting relationships with our customers is paramount.
So our crust, it takes 3 days for us to make that crust. So it's like it's as authentic as you could possibly be. So the flour's from Italy, the oil, I think the oil's from Italy, the water's from Ludlow, Kentucky, the salt's from somewhere in America, but it's a 3-day process. So first you make a biga, and that's like a slowly the way that the sugar eats the yeast. All right, so it's just like beer, it's a fermentation process.
Look at this, Logan. You could reopen Covington Chili. You could just literally put Logan in that top white part, Logan's Covington Chili. And you could really fuck with people and you could just sell cheeseburgers. Because there's Empress, what is there, Blue Ash Chili? You could just offer, there's a Bush, you could offer all the chilies at Logan's Covington Chili. Or you could even mess with people and call it Collins. That's the next bust for the company. Prevost. Oh yeah. I've never eaten here, agave and rye. I'm insane. Like, you got Evil Knievel and you've got MP. That would be awesome having big ass doors like that. See, that's one of the reasons I want to have our office in like Covington or Cincinnati. I love the architecture. Have you ever been in this little tunnel? It's pretty cool. Some guys just look sexier in MP.
Oh.
What is that?
It's debuting on our unicycle pizza cutter, huh?
No way.
Oh, my kids got it for me for my birthday.
That's pretty awesome.
In the museum in Chicago. What's up?
What's up, brother? So one of your guys, we were out walking around and we went across the street looking at the shop. One of your guys was over there.
Really?
Yeah, he was, I guess, getting something.
Something. That little flag right there, that's the Argentinian flag. So all these flags, they were like people I've gotten visas for or brought in to perform in the United States.
Is that Australia?
That's Australia, yeah.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Indonesia, Malaysia, 2 Muslim countries, Japan, all over, Israel, Sudan, Egypt.
So if you fly to Australia, do you go through Europe or do you go the other way?
I flew once the longest flight, which was you go all the way around, you go all the way around. I flew from here to LA and then LA to California.
Is that all Russia?
That's Russia.
Is there no way from Russia?
Nobody from Russia. I got to get an Indian flag. They ran out of Indian flags. I brought an Indian into town. I have not had any Russians.
I heard Russia huge with.
Big circus stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I'm eating somehow because like the pizza's great, the beer's great, the thing's working. You just gotta get it out in front of people, make it happen. Oh, beautiful.
So this is the Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Cinco de Mayo. Jump on it, fellas.
You gotta eat a piece too.
Absolutely.
Cinco de Mayo, baby. I'm trying to place the flavor. There's something familiar. So it's salsa.
Great idea.
Salsa, ranch, smoked chicken. The cheese is the Mexican cheese. It's a hard cow smoked cheese. It's cotija. So it's like it'd be like feta. I think is a goat smoked cheese. This is the Mexican alternative. It's really, but it's They put it on like when you go to Mexican restaurants. It's often on top of like refried beans.
Okay.
It's not the shredded cheese you get with your. It's super authentic. And then the tahini on top is the thing that really wraps it all up because that's the lime, the chili lime spice. We might figure out.
How far out do you plan these pizzas?
I was dreaming this one up about 2 weeks ago, but I had to source the ingredients. You know, I had to get the smoked chicken was the biggest part.
That's phenomenal. I've never had salsa on a pizza.
No, that was a first for me. I love it.
There's a pizza I like that they do at Strong's. It's got grippos on it. You ever heard that?
Yeah, it's a good pizza. We have our Get a Grip. It's Grippos and Get It. You like our Get a Grip?
No, I don't think I've had the grippo.
No, we just had the
Yeah.
pizza.
Yeah. The Get It. Ours is a Get a Grippo. It's just like it's cheese, smoked mozz, Finky's Geta.
Oh my gosh.
Finky's Geta is the best because there's no MSG in it. Everybody else, you go to Glears or Gliers, like the Finky's is like.
What is it? Gliers or Gliers? I was wondering.
It's
Bircus,
Glears.
Bircus, whatever. We know what it's you pick your battles. That's how I look at it. Pick your battles. You know, Finky's Geta, barbecue chicken. You want one of those? You want to try Get a Grip?
Do it.
That one was one of our pizza of the weeks that people just blew their minds.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, we gotta get that one. Get a Grip it's pretty awesome, and it's cool because it's like. And you been to Finky's Market in Fort Wright?
Long time.
So great. Finky's is. This is what's so cool. It's my favorite work. So one thing to do for Jerry Springer, how active this is in Ellesmere, you know, and it's so cool to bring the circus to like Ellesmere, same kids, and it's so cool because probably half the audience speak Spanish, and or half the audience is black or speaks Spanish, and that is like the mission of what I'm really working to do is like connect these dots between. Because at the end, when Lucina starts talking Spanish, everybody, all the kids are like, oh, and all the white kids are like, man, I'm not black, so it's fun to like flip that dynamic, especially now, in Ellesmere.
I was on a diversity in the workforce panel about 3 months ago for Cisco Canada, and it was me and 2 other white dudes. And so like before it goes live, I'm like, I didn't know what I was on. And they asked me to be a guest about this and that and the other, and I guess I misunderstood. I didn't know it was diversity in the workforce. And I'm like, hey guys, 2 things that are kind of funny. Number 1, I'm from America's best restaurants, this is Canada. And on 2, we have a diversity in the workforce where it's 3 white dudes. And the guy goes, yeah, it's a good point.
Well, it's funny though, because like our friends in Mexico, and that's like our beer, our cerveza is 1862, which is actually the year of Cinco de Mayo. So Cinco de Mayo, like what we're celebrating for Cinco de Mayo is when the Mexicans beat the French. It was Napoleon III. So the very first Cinco de Mayo was 1862. All right. So that's that's how we're celebrating the like heritage, because the Canadians and the Mexicans, they consider themselves Americans, and they get pissed when we claim America, like, because America really is Canada, like it's North America, right, and it's South America. So it's an interesting perspective for a lot of these people on the flags. When we say we're America, they're like, no, you're the United States of America. And for me, it's really funny because that's what I'm posting on our socials. Like, listen, because nobody, like trying to educate our people about like what Cinco de Mayo is, So like here, let's see, I put on my LinkedIn today because I don't think a lot of people know what Cinco de Mayo really is. They think it's something else. Oh, cool. Well, you liked it, but I was like, today celebrates the Battle of Puebla, France versus Mexico in 1862. If you're like, what the fuck's Cinco? I mean, nobody celebrates it in Mexico.
They have no clue.
But 500 people viewed it so far.
Yeah.
It's a fun way to. Now they're not here. It's not transactioning to like pizza sales right this second. But a fancy guy, owner of photo illustrations, has great image. It's cool to get in front of that and be creative from the side of like, I drunked up the pizza, I took the picture, did the thing.
We were talking about this today. We were out on a shoot with Aaron's a guy that rents in my building. He's a realtor. And so we film his podcast and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So here's one of his TikToks. 2 days ago,
Oh, my
266,000. But it's
Holy
all about the
smokes.
momentum. It's all about 1,300
Yeah.
here, 1,200 there. You're gonna have one that pops
Wow.
stupid,
That was crazy.
but it's all about
What was the number on that? 260?
268.
1,000?
Yeah, I've got.
Holy smokes.
I
That's
had
nuts.
I had a couple. I had one 2 weeks ago, 168, 468,000.
Holy cow.
I had 1 week where the cumulative video views and engagements were almost 800,000 between like 6 pieces of content. And I was trying to explain to an owner of a brand a couple weeks ago, he's trying to put an ROI on everything he does. And I said, well, I can only for me. He's like, how do you know that's worth spending money on? Like, how do you know it's worth having this guy film all the time and having Max film and having editors and having studios? I'm like, well, when my company doubles every 2 years and the only thing we keep doing more of is producing content, I mean, that's the only ROI I need. I know it's not something that's gonna pay off in 2 months. It's not like that. Him getting those 200,000 views, people aren't going to come flocking to him to buy and sell houses or invest. But if he consistently stacks that on all the platforms over the course of the next 3 to 4 years, he's building a brand. And that's where there's the tough part for my business. Is there's some businesses that want to see, which I think is kind of funny because they don't see it anywhere, where they want to see an ROI on every dollar they spend in their business marketing-wise. And then the other aspect of it is they've not seen it before. Like I had a restaurant we talked to recently. It was like, well, I got to see a 10x return on this. And the guy that we were there with, actually his business partner, looked at it and said, okay, so you want to see a 10x return on that spend, right? Yeah. He goes, okay. We're spending similar money over here, right? Yeah. And he broke it down and he's like, so are we seeing a 10x on that? He's like, well, I don't know. He's like, so why all of a sudden does this thing need to be measured differently than the shit you've been doing for 10 years? And that's what we found a lot with social media is that the minute radio and TV, people have been buying radio and TV for 40 years. And they have no clue what's happening with it. They are told that people are watching it. They think people are listening to it. There's not. You're Jeff Weiler. You aren't having people walk in and go, hey, I'm here because you're radio commercial. But the minute you can see it show any stats on Facebook, like views or clicks, like, okay, well, what happened with that click? Did they buy? Well, I don't know. Well, I need to know. I'm not going to spend money unless I know they bought.
Right.
And so when you start showing them a little stats, is when they want all of them. That's what, to me, what's always been confusing with our journey in marketing to restaurants is that we've got pretty good stats to show people from the standpoint that we can physically say, look, part of what we do is attract, part to build, part to retain. The attraction part of the front end, if the bribery is correct, if you can bribe the consumers with some hardcore call to action, you'll see the return there. But when it's the back end of it, when it's a year from now and you've had that person's email and cell phone number and you talk to them 30 times, you're not going to know that every time you talk to them they came in. Otherwise, the only way you can do that is to coupon and discount all the time. You'll coupon yourself out of business.
Yeah.
But the views are the ones that are interesting to me, like you showed there, the LinkedIn. Like I can look at any given day on me and look at LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook,
Right.
TikTok, YouTube, and I can say, okay, here's 5,000 people that interacted with something. I'm not expecting on my end to say, hey, look, tomorrow I better see those fuckers in here buying advertising. But I know that if I consistently do that over the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to pay off huge.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's like, I've been selling beer for 10 years out of Ludlow. 5 years I've been selling our own beer, and like it's totally long game, long picture, big situation.
How long has this been here? Because
Been here since November. So we opened up during Pizza Week.
And it was
City Beats Pizza Week.
How long was it? Because it was pizza for like a year or two before that.
It was Pepe Cucina, and then they closed down, and then it was Rose and Mary Bakery. So like they were running upstairs all through the pandemic, and then North South Baking is our kind of partner, but they're crushing it here because they had this they started in a incubator kitchen, all right, and they would have an hour-long wait at like 4 or 5 different farmers markets. So, you know, we end up selling a ton of her stuff, which is cool. But there's just, I mean, you know, it's just like nobody came close to it. You know, like we have to figure out how to connect the dots with the people in Covington, and or get a catering order and do 20 pizzas for some places. You know, like let people know, like, hey, we can do salads, we can do pizzas. You know, we can bring canned beer, we can do the thing, and then that's the. You know, I'm looking at this. You know, like this is us at Fifth Third Bank years and years ago for Artswave thing. I was working with kids in jail. It's empty job for you know. So here's me like working with derelict kids who are doing nothing, and we're performing at the Madisonville campus, the old US shoe factory right there. They got their own cafeteria. This is like we're volunteering, trying to get them to donate money to give to Artswave. I got my little like visitor badge on.
Where's she holding?
A peacock feather. So we're you know, but here we are doing the German wheel, and this guy in the red shirt, he was in jail for stealing cars, literally. Okay, it is definitely like a long-term patience play, but for my investors, you know, they're looking for the 10x. Everyone wants the return, all right? Just like that cohort, like how, and I'm like, hey, I don't know. I mean, if I hire the right people, right, and I make the right video, and we produce the right event, and Jerry comes in, so I'm a patient fool, but the folks that I'm engaging with, like staff, payroll, stuff like, man, this is an expensive venue here, and this is our beer's great, our pizza's great, getting the story out about these other countries and how it is, like all these people are with Catholic charities, so they're mentally and physically disabled, and they love doing service, you know, and if I didn't have to make pizza and beer, I would only do circus, but that's not sustainable. Like that model doesn't work. Like no one will fund it. I don't want to be brought to you by United Way, but like that's in Ludlow. These are all students from Chicago, students, and we connect you with he owns the dance studio up in, you know, off Buttermilk Pike, you know, and it's cool to connect with her on that. Here's our Get a Grip. Oh, there you go.
Goodness. So we had just the Get a pizza last time, right?
Nah, this is the Get a Grip right here.
Now what's the difference? This has the chips, what else?
Oh, just get a little garlic oil, a little cheese, and the Grippos potato chips. Get a grip.
I'm about to get a grip.
Get a
I'm about
grip.
to get a grip on this.
Get a grip. Ooh, no flop, right? You know, I mean, that's it. So our crust, it takes 3 days for us to make that crust. So it's like it's as authentic as you could possibly be. So the flour's from Italy. The oil, I think the oil's from Italy. The water's from Ludlow, Kentucky. The salt's from somewhere in America, but it's a 3-day process. So first you make a biga, and that's like a way that the sugar eats the yeast. All right, so it's just like beer, it's a fermentation process. But when you built it in a biga for the first day, and then you add more flour, more water, then it like really ramps up and makes it a pretty nice situation. And the theater, we're killing it, like doing shows, doing events, that's not a problem. But it really is like cracking that code on how to be the pizza place where people want to put our pizza against Camperosos or against Strong's Brick Oven or any of that stuff, you know. If they have their built-in audience, and I know no one will leave Fort Mitchell, right? Like they would go there. They won't go anywhere. They won't go to Mason. They won't go to Bromley. They won't go to Ellsworth. You know, like there's a mentality that we have to try and shift.
Well, but people are coming down here all the time for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if they see a reason to come down through lunch throughout the week, it's just going to take getting the product in their hands.
We got Ripple over there. I mean, you've got Rich's. Like, it's really trying to figure out what the right mix is with this area. And we got our outdoor seating permit, you know. But then, so when the weather hits, that'll be good. But it's monitoring it and figuring that out, because you don't want an umbrella and a table blowing into your Lambo. We got problems, babe. You know, we got problems. Or we got opportunities to connect with customers.
I wanted to talk to you.
I wanted to get on your, it's funny.
Your calendar, and I thought it might be
That's how you do it.
How does the beer, the palate of the people that are down here, like I don't drink beer, I don't drink,
Sure,
but
sure.
I've had friends of mine that aren't big fans of Braxton. I got some friends that are. What type of palate are the other beer out down here?
Well, I'll say this: we are because we made in 5 years we made 60 different beers and not 6,000 different beers, and this would be for
Fine, too.
anybody. Okay, this is for any brewery that's over X number of barrels. Like the gimmick is always the new and this and that, and we really dial in. Like if you have a whole lot of money, you do IPAs because IPAs are expensive because you put a lot of hops in it. Hops cost a lot of money, but also is a way to cover like really mediocre beer. So half our beers are lagers, which are you can't like it takes twice as long to make a lager, and you have to do a really good job. So this is our lager with lime. All right, so we've got like a Vienna lager, we got a German lager, we got a Polish lager, we've got like, and that's back to the whole. We got American lager, we got a Mexican lager, and it's fun because that's where if you're going to come to town for beer, like you're going to want to come and try our beer, and I'll put our beer up against anybody's in town. People will say different things about this, and that, but like we have to make excellent beer because by the time it gets someone to Ludlow, like that's the shows have to be fantastic, the pizza has to be fantastic. 'Cause I don't know why people are coming. Some people will come because they don't drink beer, they want to see the show. The show's got to be great. Some people that don't care about circus, they got to have great beer. Some people that want a great burger, like our Burger Week burgers, like my kids and I made them all by hand. We grilled them on charcoal, and that's something I strategically want to talk with you about because like we're doing Burger Week again. We did 22 grand. We had our best week ever on a $6 burger. We lost our shirts on burgers per se, but nobody. I know the farmer. Like we feed cows in Pelham County at Gravitz Angus.
Yeah,
That's where we buy our beef.
You feed them with your
Our spent grain. Then we buy it back. All right. Then we cook it on charcoal, and like that's a sexy place where I want
You
to
gotta
be.
call your burgers recycled beer.
Yes. You know, we should. You know, but again, it's coming up with the schedule and the agenda, and you know, doing pizza in Ludlow is tough because it takes hours to get the wood. You got to split the wood. You got to get the fire. It takes forever to get the oven up to temperature. You know, like strategically, if you need to like suss out, hey, this is what I'm thinking. How do we really drive the burgers down there on a if we open up on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we do burgers on Tuesdays and Wednesdays there, it's great. Then we open up here Wednesday for pizza because you just turn the oven on, it's just different. You know, it's like focusing on like what has kind of worked. I don't want to do burgers 24/7 down there, but that's a great way to get people to Ludlow to do like we get the best burgers in town on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever, because like that is. Again, it's a weird strategy, but if I don't create an event, people don't come to Ludlow.
Does Ludlow have an open hangout space like this, or is it all by ticket?
We have an outdoor beer garden, and you know, and during the week there's no tickets. You know, it's
Show up, drink beer.
yeah.